In this video, I'm going to do September forecast for Scorpios. Now you might be saying like, whoa, it's already like September 8th. Where were you with this? You're a little bit late to do like a September forecast. Like I think a forecast should come before the month starts. Yes, it should. You're really on it. Yes, this forecast is late. One of the reasons is that I've been investing a lot of my energy outside of my career. I do have a day job. I've been using it to kind of grow, try and grow my channels, grow my TikTok, really grow my YouTube. I've been pushing out a lot of content, as much as I can in the hours that I'm able to dedicate to that. I haven't really inserted forecasts into that as part of the sort of recurring content that I've been making, but it's been on my radar. I think it's something that a lot of my subscribers or people that are already kind of following the channel would really enjoy. So this is a little bit of a trial run. Right? I haven't done forecast videos yet, and so it's gonna be a little bit of trial and error for me. So I'll probably do a few of these September videos for a few of the signs and one-off videos, just kind of see how things go. But going forward, definitely look for those monthly forecast videos where I'll go through every sign and you'll have it all in one place and before the start of the month, which can be helpful. So what I'm going to talk about, this could apply to people that have a Scorpio Sun, especially also people that have Scorpio Ascendant, Scorpio Rising. That'll let me provide some detail more at the house level. And it can also apply to Scorpio Moon. And I'll try to be clear throughout the video if something really only pertains to one of those three or all of them sort of generally. Would love your feedback, would love your comments, and thank you for watching. So we recently hit September. We're now at September 8th. We know that Scorpio season is not that far away. We're starting to see fall kind of come through, at least on the Northeast. And we know that the pumpkin spice lattes are coming out, but like, what's going on astrologically this month for Scorpios? One of the biggest astrological news stories of this month was that Venus completed its retrograde motion, station direct, is no longer in retrograde as of September 3rd. Now, generally Venus retrograde, right, it's a time for us to reflect and revisit and look inward. Now, this Venus retrograde was an opportunity for us to take a step back and reflect and revisit themes of our relationships, our romantic relationships, our relationships with ourselves, our ability or lack of ability to practice self-care. Also, our creative projects. Maybe we have some irons in the fire, or our ability to, our earning power, or our sense of abundance or assets. All of those things can be part of the picture. So this past Venus retrograde, maybe you were thinking about, what you most value in a relationship, and you're thinking about how you're getting those in your current relationship, or maybe you're thinking, these are the things that I want in my next relationship. I'm not in one now, but this is, what I decide is important to me. Maybe you thought a little bit about how you are taking care of yourself and loving yourself. That always has to come first before you can even think about being in sort of a healthier, productive relationship with another person. Are you loving yourself? Are you taking care of your own happiness? Are you doing the things you need to do? Are you doing the same things for yourself that you would do for a loved one? Those kind of things. And I think also generally there were probably some reflections again about earning power, income, our ability to monetize our creativity and the things that interest us. And for individuals that have a Scorpio Rising, Scorpio Ascendant, Venus came back out of retrograde, and it's now likely sitting right around your MC, your midheaven, in your 10th house. Now, having come out of the retrograde period, having had time to kind of think about some of those Venusian themes, right? And I think the ones that are going to be most relevant for you, given its position in your chart, is probably around, earning potential, income, being paid what you're worth, knowing what you're worth, being able to receive compensation for things you do or create, or receiving recognition maybe or validation from some of the things that you give or the ways that you give. Those are kind of the broad strokes of it, but hopefully you came out of this period with some new insights. Now is the time to kind of put those into motion, or put whatever you sort of realized into action. Venus is going to be sitting, in your 10th house throughout the rest of this month. This is the time to make it happen, right? Think about how you want to take what you've learned and bring it to either your career or the way that you're projecting yourself publicly or advertising yourself or promoting yourself. These are going to be top of mind for you this month. For Scorpio Suns, you know, some of those themes are certainly going to be true. I can throw out a little bit of the house considerations. I don't know what your ascendant is, but Venus is sitting in a square position with your sun right now, approximately, right? We can't totally be exact when we're doing forecasts for, you know, like a whole sign. But there's some tension there between your sun and the Venus, and all of those things that you reflected on during Venus retrograde are going to be relevant. But the fact that it's sitting there in a square with your sun, there's going to be some sort of decision that needs to be made, or some conflict or tension that's going to need to be resolved, right? To fully kind of integrate the energy and the wisdom that Venus retrograde could potentially bring and manifest into your life. So, you know, could this be an issue of you not fully committing to some kind of like creative endeavor or some side project? Or are you hiding it from other people? Or are you worried about what people might think if you, you know, did a certain thing, if you did X or Y, or if you engaged in a new creative hobby? You know, think about those kind of things, right? This interpretation isn't going to be perfect, but think about that kind of stuff. For Scorpio moons, really think about what I was talking about in terms of like self-care, right? Think about how you are showing up for yourself, how you are loving yourself. For Scorpio moons, it's always a challenge, but really think about how you are taking care of your emotions and your Scorpio moon in the way that it really deserves and needs, right? A Scorpio moon needs a lot of tending, a lot of care, a lot of love, a lot of expressiveness, even if it's not from someone else, especially if it's not from someone else, really from us, from you. So think about that, and think about how you might be able to do that a little bit differently, and maybe a little bit in a way that's more beneficial. For Scorpio rising individuals, you know, you're only a couple months away from the sun returning back to the start of your chart, crossing over your ascendant, which is always somewhat of a, you know, a personal New Year's, right? It's the culmination of a year-long cycle. And so right now, and for this month, your sun is in the 11th house, right? It's 11th house is associated with groups, is associated with bringing things together. It's also got an Aquarian aspect to it, because Uranus rules the 11th house. And so it's also about kind of these like culminations and flashes of progress or insight or completion. This is kind of the time to like go make it happen, go be a little bit extra aggressive, be a little bit bold, really put yourself out there. Of course, in October, your sun will go through your 12th house, which is sort of, that's the time to reflect and take a step back, and that kind of prepares you for, you know, the crossover of the ascendant again. 12th house sun transit, it's always never fun. It's productive and it can produce a lot of wisdom. It's never fun. Why don't we cross that bridge when it comes? Think about just kind of like where you are with your goal, whatever. And if you didn't set an intention, right? Just like this is a good month to just like really put yourself out there, to think about tribe, think about what sort of affiliations are giving you meaning, the people that you're connecting with, the groups that you're connecting with, like, is that resonating with you? That's a good question to ask yourself throughout this month. You know, it's entirely possible that your energy, you know, isn't at an all-time high. You might be like honestly kind of freaking burnt out right now. Mars is moving through the 12th house for Scorpio rising individuals, and it's usually, that's kind of a resting period, right? It's a time when your will and your ability to really put yourself forward and put yourself out there and kind of give yourself that extra push and whatever you're doing isn't really available. It's kind of like, yes, I'm pumped, I'm ready to go, but like you don't have enough gas, or you're hungry, or, you know, and that's okay. Sometimes you need to just recognize that and take some time to like refuel, to rest, right? To kind of coil up. Because when Mars comes through the 12th house, hits the ascendant, that's a very invigorating time. So if you're feeling a little bit low right now, just kind of wait it out. Don't push yourself. Reinforcements are on the way. Now let's talk a little bit about the slow moving planet situation for y'all in September. And depending on where your Scorpio Sun or your Scorpio Moon is sitting in the sign of Scorpio, it's likely pretty proximal to an opposition aspect with Uranus and an opposition with Jupiter. Now, you've been dealing with the Sun-Uranus opposition for some time now, and I'm sure that if this applies to you, you have felt it. Uranus is lifting, uprooting, Prometheus, unexpected, rapid change type of energy, and it's hitting you in opposition, which really polarizes the situation and makes it especially difficult to integrate that very excitable, chaotic energy into your kind of day-to-day being. You're probably being met with scenarios where you don't really have much of a choice, or there's not necessarily like a specific path where you're feeling that kind of Uranus energy. It's more just like things kind of keep happening, a lot of little things that are just kind of totally sort of throwing you off. Or maybe it's been like one really big thing threw you off, and now you're still kind of like, you know, picking up the pieces still. Hang in there, right? It's still gonna be a thing for a little bit longer. Not necessarily any immediate relief in sight, but just knowing that that's there, I think can sometimes be helpful, can be grounding. Uranus is currently retrograding right now, so it's moving back in an earlier part of Taurus. Yeah, it's gonna be in Taurus for a little bit. Remember though that Uranus energy doesn't have to be bad. Like all these situations where you may be getting kind of totally thrown off is actually like a blessing, right? Like Uranus energy is sort of genius in a sense. It's like higher order. It's sending lightning bolts to align you on your path. And even if it feels upsetting now, these things are working in your favor, and they will in the long run, as long as you kind of take that mindset. And you'll be able to see, like a couple years down the road, you'll look back at this transit and be like, oh yeah, I can very clearly see, like I was just getting hit by freaking lightning bolts everywhere and it was chaos, but I see how it helped me get to like where I am now. Just as much as possible, try not to let yourself get completely untethered and completely like divorced from reality. There might be a lot going on and you might just kind of want to escape into either like, oh, you know, the future is going to be better, or escape into, you know, coping mechanisms or lavish spending or going out a lot, right? Like remember, Jupiter is also hanging out opposite Scorpio, right? Opposite your sun, opposite your moon, if those are located in Scorpio. And that is always a little bit of a fun, expansive, lucky energy, but it can also be an energy of overindulgence. And it can be an energy that will lead us astray and lead us into dangerous excess, especially if we're engaging that Jupiter energy as a way to sort of distract us from maybe harder lessons or harder things that we're trying to integrate. So just be mindful of that. All these things I've said about Uranus and Jupiter, very applicable to someone with sun or moon. I would just say that if you have your moon in Scorpio, they're still associated with external events usually, but the influence is more like on your inner makeup, and it's reforming your inner makeup. And so for the Scorpio moon, avoid the emotional excess, avoid the romantic fantasies, avoid the, you know, escapism to deal with anxiety or inner emotional frustration, and understand that how you feel about certain things, right, is kind of being shocked, and it's not done yet, but just try and stay as calm as you can. Whereas for the Scorpio sun, those outer planets are affecting more just kind of your daily being, your life. For the Scorpio rising, both Jupiter and Uranus being opposite the sign of Scorpio, these planets are sitting in your 7th house right now, which means that in your one-on-one relationships, in your intimate partnerships, maybe romantic relationships, there's an opportunity to expand. Maybe you're moving, your relationship is growing, or it's forced to grow faster than it should be because like big things are happening and they're throwing it onto a different timeline. Like maybe someone is now being asked to move to a different city for a job, and now like you have to move in together like way earlier than you thought you would, but it's just kind of happening. Or, you know, it could be a situation where you are really leaning into this part of your life, like you are really exploring, maybe dating people, meeting a lot of different people, but none of it is really stable or consistent, or You know, maybe you're interested in a lot of different partners at the moment. Really kind of hard to tell, but for the Scorpio rising, that's probably more in the ballpark, right, as it pertains to those slow moving planets sitting there versus what I just talked about a little bit earlier about Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon. Regardless of whether, you know, your Scorpio rising, Sun, or Moon, you're gonna be feeling some Saturnian influences this month. For Scorpio rising folks, your Saturn right now is in the 4th house, which means there's just restriction, limitation around the home, or maybe there's some increased responsibilities around either the home, like the physical home, or family. Like there's just something more serious going on, which will pass, but it's something to be aware of. For Scorpio Moon and Sun, I don't necessarily know where in your charts Saturn is located right now, but at the early degrees of Pisces right now, you're going to feel some Saturnian influence over the next month plus, and this may not necessarily be bad, right? It's a harmonious Saturn influence, but there's gonna be some increased sort of seriousness, and you're gonna have an opportunity to make a lot of progress in a goal that's typically or has recently been very frustrating with you, or you haven't totally seen a way out of. Keep an eye out for Saturn influences. Keep an eye out for hard things. Don't shy away from something that seems difficult, but you think might actually like really help you in the long run. Just flag that for now. And having discussed that, let's kind of end with talking about Mercury retrograde, right? Mercury is currently retrograding through the sign of Virgo. For Scorpio rising individual, Mercury is transiting through your 10th house, the house of career, right? The house of kind of public projection, right, and your reputation. So maybe use this as a time. There might be restrictions or blockages going on in the home, but this might be the time to like think about your career, or again, what you're doing, or again, think about maybe some of those Venus retrograde reflections. Think about how you're actually translating, you know, things that you care about and things that you love or things that you really value into actual action. And we think about Mars is kind of action, right? But before we can have action, we have to kind of have pick a route. We got to pick a path, and we have to pick a goal and a plan. And so Mercury retrograding through your 10th house right now could have something to do with that. Bear in mind, but also just bear in mind the general Mercury retrograde themes, the time for reflection, and especially being in the sign of Virgo, it's a time to reassess how we're classifying things, how we're organizing our life, how we are choosing to focus, what we're choosing to focus on versus what we're not, the opportunity costs that we're making. You know, realize that there's limited time. Everything is an opportunity cost. So think a little bit about, you know, coming out of both these retrogrades, like what do I value, and, you know, why is that important to me, and what do I kind of want to do based on that knowledge that it is important to me, and like what steps do I need to write out and assign Mercury, right? So that when I have this new energy at the start of the year, when Mars, you know, crashes through my Ascendant and people are like, hell yeah, let's go, we have so much energy, like you can really make the most of it. For Scorpio Sun and Scorpio Moon, again, don't know where Mercury is in the chart, but it is 2 signs away, meaning it's in the sextile position. Look out for events, for doors, for opportunities. These aren't always super overt, but they're not unnoticeable either. There'll be little subtle opportunities for you to communicate or share or learn something, and I can't really say what specifically it will be, but keep an eye on those over the course of this month. Usually these are helpful opportunities. These doors lead to other doors, so keep an eye out. This went a lot longer than I kind of wanted it to, but I hope you found it interesting. Thanks for watching.